Hello, my name is Jordan Spence. The process that I've chosen to talk about today is arc welding. So, what exactly is it? Arc welding is a form of fusion welding process that uses an electric arc to fuse or join metals together. In order for this to happen, it requires three major components: the electric arc to generate heat, either an AC or DC circuit to power it, and an electrode that provides filler to the weld. Many of the most popular welding processes are types of arc welding. Stick welding, MIG, TIG, and flux core are all different types of arc welding. At its very core, the purpose of arc welding is to join metals together. This is accomplished by extreme heat that comes from an arc that is powered by an arc welding power source with either an AC or a DC circuit. Arc welding is used for many things. It's the most common form of welding, and thus is used widely across industries such as the automotive industry, the civil engineering industry, the subnautical industry, and more. Additionally, it is commonly used in repairs and maintenance for many types of machinery and buildings. Some things that are partially made by welding are ships, vehicles, and pipes. Arc welding has a lot of both pros and cons. One of the pros is that it is the simplest type of welding to do and uses the least training. As an example, my sister is a welder and got certified in 4 types of arc welding: stick, TIG, MIG, and flux core, all within less than a year. Additionally, it's the cheapest type of welding that you can do. The equipment is fairly inexpensive compared to other types, making it more beginner-friendly and easier to pick up without making a massive financial equipment, which is convenient for beginners. It's also portable, making it easy to carry to and from job sites without having to create permanent setups in order to work for shorter jobs. Lastly, arc welding produces welds that have high impact strengths. However, along with these, there are also several disadvantages that come with arc welding. One is that you generally can't weld thin materials without them cracking or burning straight through. These problems are generally amplified with stick welding, which is generally only good for thicker materials. Moreover, arc welding can't be used to melt plastics without melting through it. Lastly, it's the most inefficient form of welding and leaves higher waste than any other type of welding process. Now I want to get into the 3 main supplies that people need in order to arc weld. Welding electrodes, known as welding sticks, are wires that are connected to the welding machine that creates the electric arc through which arc welding gets its name. There are 2 primary types of welding electrodes: consumable and non-consumable. Consumable electrodes must be changed regularly as they are fed into the weld and consumed. Non-consumable electrodes are generally made of tungsten and carbon and are slowly vaporized throughout the welding process, but at a much slower pace than consumable electrodes are consumed. Thus, they're more time efficient as compared to consumable electrodes. The second most common component in arc welding is something called an arc shield, which is a gas that covers an electrode in order to protect it from the chemicals that are generated due to the extreme temperatures that welding produces. A substance called a flux is commonly used to protect welds. It does this by melting down into a slag which coats the weld. However, this reduces the efficiency and it must be chipped off later. Arc welding uses one of 2 machines as a power source: a DC machine and an AC machine. DC equipment is generally considered a DC machine or an AC machine. DC equipment is generally considered to be the better of the 2 as it gives you more control over the weld and it can be used on a full range of metals, whereas AC machines can only be used to weld ferrous metals. However, AC machines are cheaper, which once again makes them more accessible to entry-level welders who pay for their own equipment. And